Welcome to Vedic Mathematics basis base classes. We in the present phase 9 are focusing upon 5 space VMSNT, and in this lesson 53 we shall be introducing the concept of transcendence range synthesis. The transcendence range is a five-fold range. We know the manifestation layers are four-fold ranges, and these are dimension fold, boundary fold, domain fold, and the origin fold. The fifth fold is the base fold. Within five space domain, the format provides us a five folds organization. This five folds organization is that the first four folds are the four-fold manifestations, a dimension fold, boundary fold, domain fold, and the origin fold. It is the fifth fold which is the base fold. Therefore, the focus in phase 5 upon 5 space VMST in fact takes us to the base fold, because the first four folds remain of identical focus as has been a 4 space VMST format. Therefore, 4 space VMST format and 5 space VMST format distinguish themselves in terms of the fifth fold. Therefore, if the first four folds as quadruple values parallel to hypercube 3, then the fifth fold, the base fold, will make a range 3. This range 3 would mean it will give us a value 15, while hypercube 4 would mean it will give us value 10. Now, this transition from value 10 to value 15 is to be comprehended, to be appreciated. We know that 5 space domain as hypercube of 5 is of 11 versions. These 11 versions of hypercube 5 are the representative bodies of 1 to 11 geometries of 5 space. Therefore, these 1 to 11 geometries range with 11 versions as the representative regular bodies of these geometries provide us a format. It is this format of 11 geometries range with 11 versions of hypercube 5 as the representative regular bodies is the basic format which will take us to 5 space VMSNT. The discipline of 5 space VMSNT will ultimately become the discipline of format of 1 to 11 geometries range of 5 space with 11 versions of hypercube 5 as its representative regular bodies. Now, these 11 versions range, this format now gives us that if we have a pair of transcendence ranges, then how these pair of ranges synthesize themselves. These pair of ranges avail a first format of 11 geometries range, then again it will avail the second version of the format. So therefore, in all, at the format we will be having a value 22. Therefore, the transcendence range synthesis, this transcendence range, when will synthesize with itself, means when a pair of transcendence ranges of linear order would be available, then beneath them will be available a format of 11 geometries range and 11 geometries range, which will give us a value 22. We know that value 22 is of organization 4, 5, 6 and 7. That means of hypercube 6. As such, this format beneath the pair of transcendence ranges is of value 22, which is of the organization 4, 5, 6, 7, and it is hypercube 6. As such, the synthesis of the transcendence ranges, synthesis of a pair of transcendence ranges as such brings to the format beneath of 11 geometries range in its double frequency. So a pair of 11 geometries ranges format with value 22 beneath these pair of ranges will take us to hypercube 6, and we know that 6 space plays the role of an origin of 5 space. So 6 space is playing the role of origin of a 5 space. Therefore, this synthesis of pair of ranges is actually taking us to the origin of a 5 space, viz. to 6 space. Therefore, along the Thapate miring rod of 1 to 6 hypercubes will give us a pair of ranges as 1 to 5 and then as 2 to 6. It is this transition, it is this translation, it is this flow, it is this pravaha, it is this flow of a transcendence range of 5 folds and transiting and transforming into a next order transcendence range along this Thapate miring rod is the feature which deserves to be comprehended well. Therefore, let us make a note in our notebook of 5 space VMST that the phenomenon of transcendence ranges synthesis is the phenomenon which is happening because of the self-referral origin. It is because of 6 space playing the role of origin of 5 space that the pair of transcendence ranges which avail a format of 11 geometries range will take us to a synthesis, and it is this synthesis of hypercube 6, this value 22. We know that this gap, when is synthesized, it will add one more value, and it is this value which will be available here for a synthesis, and as such this synthesis value will become 31. Let us make a note that a pair of transcendence ranges of linear order synthesize as of value 31. Pair of transcendence ranges of linear order give us a synthesis value 31. This synthesis value 31 is there as beneath the transcendence range is a geometric format of 11 geometries range of 5 space. Therefore, the pair of transcendence ranges will avail a pair of geometric formats, 11 geometries formats. So it will give us value 22, and as there is going to be a synthesis, and synthesis is going to be of a linear order, as such this gap will get fulfilled with availability of a value 1. Value 1 parallel to the value 1 of the linear order. Therefore, a linear order transcendence range with its geometric format of 11 geometries, when will be synthesizing with itself, it will be leading to synthesis value 31. A step ahead, when we will be synthesizing a pair of transcendence ranges, say of a spatial order, So 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 is the transcendence range. It is of value 21. It is of value 20, and this, when it will synthesizing itself, then the linear order will supply us the synthesis gap bridging value, and it will take us to 42. It would be blissful to take note that shift from value 31 to value 42, the attainment of value 42 from value 31 as the synthesis value of a linear order pair of transcendence ranges. This transcendence range, a linear order transcendence range, is of value 15. The another range also of value 15, it gives a value 30, and the synthesis, linear synthesis of by filling the gap, it gives us a value 30. It becomes a value 31. Now we see that this synthesis actually is availing the 11 steps long. This 11 steps long format for the synthetic setup of transcendence ranges will sequentially, with its availability for synthesis of transcendence ranges of every order. So when we will be at a transcendence range of a spatial order, means 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, value 20, then another value 20, and then naturally the 11th component will give us value 2, so there would be a value 42. In fact, it is 31 plus 11. Therefore, at each order we will go on having an additional value 11. Therefore, when a solid order transcendence range, means 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, will be synthesized with 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, then the gap filling value 3 will make this value 42 plus 11 is equal to 53, and this sequence will go. It is this phenomenon, it is this feature of the 5-space VMST which actually is to play a very effective role in the reach of 5-space VMST. So 5-space VMST with its format provided by the 11 geometries of 5-space will ultimately take us to the end reach values of 5-space VMST. Here, only with this much exposure and this much introduction, let us now have a pause and let us revisit that we are in the transcendental section. Means we are transcending from the manifested section, section 1 of a logic domain. So from the manifested domain, now we are reaching a transcendental domain. So in this transcendental domain, the focus is upon 5-space VMST. This focus upon 5-space VMST would mean a focus upon hypercube 5. Hypercube 5 is a four-fold manifestation layer with creative boundary and with a self-referral origin. So the overlord of this domain of 5-space VMST format is Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is the transcendental Lord. Lord Shiva is a 5-head Lord, and 5-head Lord with each head is equipped with a triple eyes. So it is a solid order. Therefore, we are shifting from the previous section, from the logic section, from the manifested section of 4-space VMST format. We know that 4-space VMST format has been the format of hypercube 4. It was a format of hypercube 4, and 4-space is presided by Lord Brahma, a 4-head Lord, with each head equipped with a pair of eyes. Further, we can recapitulate that Lord Brahma transcends, meditates within the cavity of his own heart, where is the seat of a transcendental Lord, and with the grace of transcendental Lord, Lord Brahma multiplies tenfold as 10 Brahmas. So this transition step from the format of 4-space VMST to the format of 5-space VMST, we have to avail the technique of a transcendental meditation. Therefore, the sadhakas shall make a specific note as that the transition from 4-space VMST format to 5-space VMST format is a transition available only with the melting of the spatial order. So once the spatial order of 4-space melts away and transits and gives place to the solid order of a 5-space, then we can say that we have been transiting from the 4-space VMST to 5-space VMST. Therefore, the first step of learning, first step of exposure, first step of absorbing for the students of 5-space VMST is that they shall pray and meditate the Brahma way, and with it to attain a transition. The transition from 4-space VMST to 5-space VMST is a step, and it is a step of transcendental meditation, and this is a step of melting of the spatial order for our intelligence field. This melting of the spatial order of our intelligence field is the first step, and once that is attained, then we will be reaching a 5-space VMST, means we will be having a solid order for our intelligence field. Now we know that hypercube of 5 is having 6 space in the role of origin. Now let us revisit that Skand, a 6-head Lord, is son of Lord Shiva. The transition from transcendental Lord's domain to the next self-referral domain is also having a transitory step. This transitory step is that we have to reach to the origin fold of the transcendental domain. The origin fold of the transcendental domain is 6-space, self-referral domain. Therefore, the Lord, transcendental Lord, a 5-head Lord, is blessed with a 6-head Lord son. 6-head Lord Skand, the son of transcendental Lord Shiv, is the transitory phase and stage through which we have to pass through before we can say that we are blessed with the transcendental grace and are successful to attain a transition from the solid order to the creative order. Therefore, a reach from the transcendental order, a solid order domain, to self-referral domain, a creative order domain, itself will be requiring a transitory step. Then let us again revisit the general broad organization format features of Shiv Puran, and we will be blessed to know that the transcendental evolution is of 3 folds, as of a reservoir of the features of goddess Uma, reservoir of the features of the goddess Sati, and reservoir of the features of goddess Parvati. Then let us further have a pause and take note that the Parvati is a enveloping reservoir of the transcendental domain. Creative boundary of transcendental domain is the stage which has been reached by transcending from spatial order to solid order. However, the end reach of the creative boundary is that Lord Shiva, transcendental Lord's reservoir is as is the reservoir of the values of the goddess Parvati, and Lord Ganesh is the son of God, Transcendental Lord Shiv, and Goddess Parvati. So we have to begin afresh for a working of the full fruit of five space domain by initiating ourselves with the grace of, with the values of the Lord Ganesh. Lord Ganesh and Skanda are two sons of the Transcendental Lord. The Lord Ganesh is the son of the Transcendental Lord Shiv and the Goddess Parvati. Therefore, these features as to how we have to enter the five space domain and how we have to reach up till the end reach values of the transcendental domain, then we have to sit comfortably, permit the transcending mind to continuously remain in transcendental state, and to see that on the one end beginning is to be with the reservoir of the values of Lord Ganesh, and on the other end the reach is to be of the values of the reservoir of the god Skand. God Skand at one end and Lord Ganesh at the other end. So this beginning to end reach of five space VMST is to be taken as of comprehension domain only within these two end values reservoirs. Transcendental domain in itself is completely comprehensible only with the grace of the Transcendental Lord. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge and who initiate with faith for full exposure of the five space VMST format shall attempt comprehension as of the range with one end reservoir values as of Lord Ganesh and of another end value reservoir of a Lord Skand. Therefore, we shall sit comfortably and to continuously pray and meditate in terms of the text of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras, firstly as of 29 steps, of first 16 steps being of the 16 sutras followed by 13 steps of Ganita Upsutras. Then at the next phase and stage, we shall pray and meditate in terms of the augmented text such that the consecutive sutras gaps are bridged in terms of the mathematical domains of the Ganita Upsutras. And thereafter, we have to reach a phase and stage when each and every letter of the text of Ganita Sutras is to be provided a diamonded format. Therefore, this phase and stage of chase for each and every letter along a diamonded format, then we can say that we are really reaching the phase and stage of the Lord Brahma with each head equipped with a pair of eyes. Once we are at that phase and stage, then we have to follow the Brahman path, the way Lord Brahma, by meditation within the cavity of his own heart, acquired the transcendental grace and multiplied it tenfold. Therefore, the sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to glimpse and imbibe the transcendental values by acquiring the transcendental grace shall meditate firstly as 29 steps long organization of Ganita Sutras, then as an augmented text, thereafter by providing a diamonded format to each letter, and once these three phases and stages have been reached, then going the Brahma way, going the Creator's way. So once we will be going the Creator's way, then we will be making ourselves in a phase and stage where we may get a transcendental grace. Once this transcendental grace phase and stage is reached, then rest is to follow of its own. With it, let us make a note that now henceforth the further phases, these 7 Samhitas of Shiv Puran will become our 7 phases and stages of the basic values change. So, Videshwar Samhita is going to be phase 9 chase, Rudra Samhita is going to be phase 10 chase, and Sat Rudra Samhita as the 11th phase, Koti Rudra Samhita is 12th phase, Uma Samhita is 13th phase, Kailash Samhita as 15th phase, and Vayve Samhita as the 16th phase. Therefore, these following 7 phases of chase of VMST are going to be the phases parallel to the values, features and formats of these 7 Samhitas of Shiv Puran. The conclusion of the end reach of this chase after these 16 phases chase is going to be of the order of Shiv Sahasranam Stotram. It is going to be the 7th phase and stage. Therefore, when we will be reaching this 17th phase and stage, then at that 17th phase and stage, we shall be successful for the bliss of the order of Shiv Sahasranam Stotram. We shall be imbibing those transcendental values, and with imbibing of those transcendental values, we will be successful that we have been on the transcendental path. Acquiring the transcendental grace shall meditate firstly as 29 steps long organization of Ganita Sutras, then as an augmented text, thereafter by providing a diamond format to each letter, and once these 3 phases and stages have been reached, then going the Brahma way, going the Creator's way. So once we will be going the Creator's way, then we will be making ourselves in a phase and stage where we may get a transcendental grace. Once this transcendental grace phase and stage is reached, then rest is to follow of its own. With it, let us make a note that now henceforth the further phases, these 7 Samhitas of Shiv Puran will become our 7 phases and stages of the basic values change. So, Videshwar Samhita is going to be phase 9 chase, Rudra Samhita is going to be phase 10 chase, and Sat Rudra Samhita as the 11th phase, Koti Rudra Samhita is 12th phase, Uma Samhita is 13th phase, Kailash Samhita as 15th phase, and Vayve Samhita as the 16th phase. Therefore, these following 7 phases of chase of VMST are going to be the phases parallel to the values, features and formats of these 7 Samhitas of Shiv Puran. The conclusion of the end reach of this chase after these 16 phases chase is going to be of the order of Shiv Sahasranam Stotram. It is going to be the 7th phase and stage. Therefore, when we will be reaching this 17th phase and stage, then at that 17th phase and stage, we shall be successful for the bliss of the order of Shiv Sahasranam Stotram. we shall be imbibing those transcendental values, and with imbibing of those transcendental values, we will be successful that we have been on the transcendental path. Thank you very much.